Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Entrepreneurial Finance, the rough analysis phase of business ideas by venture capitalists. So, you approach a venture capitalist, you survive the contact phase, now he's interested in getting to know you more. How does this rough analysis phase, which is the second stage here, how is this going? You're successful here, and now you get into the next stage. What is the next stage about? Well, first of all, this next stage is mostly on presenting your business plan or your business in more detail. When I say presenting, this is probably what it is about. It is an invitation for a presentation of the business plan. Because you remember, the most important decision criteria for a venture capitalist is the management team. So what they do, they might ask you, send your business plan and do a presentation. In many cases, they tell you, we invite you for a presentation of your business plan. Afterwards, you can give us the written plan. There's sources in research, but also sources in the practice who tell you this presentation is the most important stage in getting venture capital commitment. Because in the first 30 seconds up to 3 minutes, normally venture capital partners decide on whether they want to do that or not. That's the guts feeling. And then the only thing is that they do afterwards is try to find arguments that they are right. So if they don't want to do that, they try to find arguments that they won't invest in your company, or they try to find arguments that they want to invest in your company, but nothing else. The first 30 seconds to 3 minutes. And actually, it's the hardest thing to do is get them from track A to track B or from track B to track A. Because you won't be able to really convince them to go to the other side. This is where the slow maybe comes into place. If you ever notice, the venture capitalist might not want to invest in you because in the presentation, you got the feeling he was always asking about things which might not work. So he tries to find arguments not to invest into your company. You might not be able to convince him to the other side. So he will put you into this slow maybe. He will give you arguments and tell you, yes, I have to check this and that and that. And this is just the maybe, which slows down the process. And he hopes that everyone else is going to do the deal and the venture capitalist doesn't have to say no. That's the thing. So take this example and look at, for example, Snapchat. Snapchat basically gave the executive summary to IVP, Institutional Venture Partners, and then afterwards the same thing. Institutional Venture Partners said, well, do the presentation. And after they did the presentation, they got, in the end, the funding, after due diligence and so on, the funding and survived with $60 million US dollars from IVP. On the other hand, it could have happened, first of all, and this is 90% here, that you'll be sorted out because not interested. And another, like at least 5 to 8% will be sorted out here, not interested, and then you receive no funding. Getting no funding is the case which happens a lot more often than the case getting be funded. But you are in the driver's seat, you as the entrepreneur. If you can convince the venture capitalist, if you can show your ability to manage risks, he'll be positive. However, there's again these top 10 plus 1 lies of entrepreneurs from Guy Kawasaki's blog that will tell you what you shouldn't do, especially in that presentation. If you say one of these things, you probably won't get financing. So the first one is patents make our product defensible. Never the case. If there's a large corporation that will sue you, they always have more money for lawyers than you have. So you can't defend yourself with patents. You have to be faster. Our projections are conservative. Everybody says that. Don't say that. You have to believe in your projections. It shouldn't be conservative. It should be your best belief. That's it. And don't even use that word because VCs hate to hear that. big name research firm says our market will be 50 billion in 2020. How should they know? Nobody knows how markets look like in 2020. So what's the big name research firm about? This is not going to happen. So don't rely on others. Rely on your own belief and work assumption based. It is your assumption of the market of today, and maybe that research firm tells you an assumption of today. It's your belief of growth rates, not the big name research firm belief of growth rates. Another excuse or another thing entrepreneurs sometimes say, big name company is going to sign our purchase order next week. You'll definitely get, okay, then we're going to wait next week, and then please come back to me. Why didn't you wait on that purchase? Actually, if you get that purchase, why do you approach the venture capitalist right now? Because you have other things to do. So don't say that either. Key employees are set to join us soon as we get fund. You have to have key employees on board before you approach a venture capitalist, especially if it's a running business. If you cannot get them on board earlier, you're not the entrepreneur and venture capitalist the VC wants to invest in. No one is doing what we are doing. Maybe you're pretty unique with your solution, but there's always a solution to the problem you're facing. So always anyone is doing a similar thing, or at least solving that problem a different way. Maybe your solution is better. Then you have to talk about your solution, but never say no one is doing what we are doing, or we have no competition. This is what you never should say. No one can do what we are doing. This is also not the truth. And especially bashing large corporations. Microsoft failed in doing this, and Oracle too. Do you think this is dumb people over there? No, never. They might not be that entrepreneurial, but they have clever people, and there's others who can do the same thing. Maybe later, maybe you're faster in doing that. So there's always people who can do that, at least over time. Hurry, because several other VC firms are interested. Venture capitalists don't accept pressure, especially since they're a good network of people and they know each other. I mean, go to Stanford University and drive down Sand Hill Road and you'll see all the venture capitalists left side, right side. So they talk to each other. They go to the same places. They know each other. They will talk about you. And if this is not true, nobody invests in you anymore. Oracle is too big, dumb, slow to be a threat. I said that before. Never say that, because they are not dumb, at least. They might be slower. They might be a little too big, but they'll be a threat if they catch up with what you're doing, and they can put you out of the market. So you have to be faster. We have a proven management team. You have to be convinced that your team is good. However, if you're a young entrepreneur, maybe Harvard dropout, don't say that, because it's not a proven management team. It's an entrepreneurial people who want to do something. Maybe they can think and act as entrepreneurs. That's enough to say. And the last one, and this is the worst thing to say, all we have to do is get 1% of the market, because then you calculated big numbers nobody can believe in, and you just take 1%, which you can't argue if it's 1, 2, or 5 or 0.5%. If you say that, it tells you you're only the top down guy, and you didn't understand your company or your business in detail. Tell the people how you get the first, the second, and the next 5 customers. This is what you should do, and not how you get the 1% of the big market. This is, again, what Guy Kawasaki says. I mean, there's always some truth in what Guy Kawasaki says. Not for everyone. Maybe not many entrepreneurs say that. But this is typical things which drives entrepreneurs out of the door of venture capitalists without funding.